Big City Soundoff back. Third episode of the night. The trifecta. I haven't done this in months. I haven't done this since the last group I was with. But we had to make this one work tonight because poor Josh and Holly have been on hold for a couple months. It hasn't been working out, and we thought we had it, and then it didn't work out. So we're here, trifecta tonight. School of Rock has got to be happy about it. They're my sponsor for April, and I am loading them full of shows. And there's the School of Rock logo. They are sponsoring the month of April. Couple things going on with School of Rock and Big City Sound Off that we'll get to in a couple weeks that we'll talk about. But tonight, the focus, Josh and Holly. Josh Gray, Holly Davidson. You may know them from last night's events at the Osborne Tap House for the Ash and the Arsonist EP release with Sleepless and the Lovers. And Holly came up too. She came up on stage. Fantastic night. I'm tired as shit right now. How are you guys doing?
Good.
I was hurting this morning, but I managed to get my second win through the day.
Awesome. Yeah. What a great night.
It was great. Yeah, it was really good. I'd never seen Sleepless before, and I was really impressed with Bowen and the boys, and of course Ash and the guys are always out kicking butt, so it was good to see them.
Yeah, for sure. Just to go back to Sleepless for a second. Sleepless, when I started the, not this podcast, but when I was doing the Boneyard, Brad, the guitarist from Sleepless, he was one of my first guests I had on. They were one of the first originals bands that I was, that I really got into. So, I was really happy they played. I was going regardless. Who else is playing? It's an EP release. You got to support it. But Sleepless and the Lovers kicked off the night. You guys sounded fantastic. You're a hell of a drummer too. My God, those poor drums, you hit pretty hard. What's going on with the Lovers? Just kind of fill me in. I had Rusty. I don't even know her actually someone told me her name, and I'm so bad with names. But I had her on last week and we talked about the Lovers. And I said, well, Josh is coming on, so I'm gonna talk to him too and make sure you're backing up your facts here. Tell me about the Lovers. What's up with the Lovers? It's a band that used to be together and is reformed, or?
Yeah, I joined the Lovers. The original version was called it was actually Handsome D and the Lousy Lovers. And and we played for probably about 6 months, and then the Derek, moved to Texas, and we picked up a young singer named Kaylee, and she fronted the band for probably 2 or 3 years. And then we just kind of all went our separate ways and dissolved the project. And Colin continued on with a couple different players and stuff like that, and but not doing anything live. He didn't really have a whole lot of desire to be doing a lot of live stuff, but they were doing a lot of recording. And actually, Sean from Diver Line was his writing partner. And then they picked up a couple guys, did a couple shows, but nothing major. And then Colin and I were talking probably 2 months ago now. And I had said that Holly Davidson was going to be slowing down our regular 48-week-a-year pace. And as much as I wanted to sort of enjoy early retirement, not playing was driving me bonkers. The thought of not playing was driving me bonkers. So he said they were looking for a drummer, and I jumped in with them probably about 2 months ago and learned some of the newer material that they'd written and met Rusty. I'd seen Rusty around, but I'd never, because we played so often, I never really got to immerse myself in the original scene. So it's kind of nice going back to that, because that's where I originally got my cut. So going back into it's been neat. Playing 3-band bills and stuff. Instead of us playing 3 sets, I can just go as hard as I can for one and then watch other guys sweat. So it's nice in that aspect. So yeah, and so now we're just that was our second gig, and our third gig is I believe so far, anyways, planned for that Fall Jam event.
Right.
And I may be joining another original band yet. Uh, I was in talks with somebody last night, so that's gonna potentially take place, and we'll see how that
Cool.
goes.
Excellent. Well, yeah, you were,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I said, it was fantastic last night. And I'd seen you a month or so ago at the Tapo set. My God,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was, but that night it felt really hot in there that night. But it was nice having the doors open yesterday. A little bit of a breeze. It was a little bit of a
Yeah,
breeze coming through there. But then you go out on the deck and they got that big
yeah,
The best
heater
part
out
of
there.
yeah, yeah. It's that's a fun room to play for that reason. It kind of almost feels like you're in a backyard when they crack those
Hmm.
doors open and you can hear the street and the people on the street and the odd fire truck that is
You
pretty,
had a couple during your
or
set.
the
but
motorcycles that pass.
yeah, yeah. Well, I thought they were coming for us because we were all out of breath by the time it was done. But
Oh, Eric says haven't met yet, but I think Josh went to high school with my mom and Thorne's mom. Thor, they're from
I
Leadwin,
definitely
yeah,
did. Yeah,
yeah. Well, there you go.
yeah, yeah. I went to school with his mom and dad and Eric's mom
Okay,
as well.
excellent.
Yeah, yeah. So it's nice to see them coming into the scene here because I left Gimli. Oh, I left Gimli when I was 18 to try and be a rock star, and well, you saw last night what that did. Um, so nice to see other young guys coming in from Gimli and starting to rip up the scene.
Excellent. Yeah, no, and they're Leadwin's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
If you're still on, you still need to talk to the rest of your band about some stuff. Um, you know what I'm talking about. Back to Josh and Holly. Holly, what's going on with Davidson band? You guys were so active. Like every time I opened my Facebook, it was Holly Davidson's playing here, playing here, playing here. Is there a reason you're stepping back, or we don't have to talk about it if you don't want to?
We're still
Yeah.
pretty active. We're still pretty active. We've dropped down to about 2 gigs a month.
Yeah.
We'll do 3 once in a while. I'm tired. I mean, I've only been doing this for 15 years and working a full-time daytime job, and we got some other stuff on the go, which we won't talk about right now because we haven't released that information. But
What
we're
was
still working.
I don't know what she's talking about. She hasn't even told me.
He's not present at these rehearsals, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's a couple of the guys wanted to just break a bit of the. I mean, we were going every
Yeah.
weekend, and it's a good problem to have, so to speak. But at the same time, you sort of miss out a lot on even simple things, family get-togethers, concerts, you know, shows, whatever. And you don't get to go out and see other bands, and you get into a routine where you're always doing it. But this year, a couple of the guys in the project expressed interest in cutting back, and I was looking to get back into the original stuff anyways, because as much as I love playing the covers and playing the rooms that the covers facilitate, there's something about playing music that you created and watching, like last night, the people's reactions to songs that they've never heard
Hmm.
before. That's when it's really clicking, because everybody's going to dance to Britney Spears, but when they're dancing to something that you wrote, it's kind of I always it's recharging the
Hmm.
batteries so I can go play more Britney.
Exactly right. I think one thing, and I told Rusty this too. The thing that stood out to me seeing you the first time, and then obviously the second time, is any covers you did. I didn't know the cover, so
Neither
to
did
me,
we.
the entire thing is originals, right? Except for the Red
Right.
Riding Hood one. And the first time I saw it, I'm like, is that their
Oh,
song?
the
And I
Red
actually
Riding Hood.
looked it up. And then I found the song and I found, okay, so that was a cover. But I was like, oh, that's such an interesting song. And then I realized it was a cover. But that's what I said to her. I said everything to me was originals,
Mhm.
because even if I have heard those songs before, the way you play them would be different. Obviously, the version of Little Red Riding Hood I heard was way
That's true.
different than the version you play, which is more amped
Yeah.
up, right? So, but yeah, no, you're just a great band. There was some people that were there that night that hadn't seen you and had great things to say about you as well. So, yeah,
Right
that's
on.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's nice that and it's a fun group. A lot of talent. Rusty's a great singer, and Colin and Sean on guitars. It's fun, and and a lot of energy. We had a new bass player last night, Grant. That was his
Hmm.
first show with us, and he plays with Stars,
Okay.
and he was fun. He was fun to play with. As a drummer, you're always kind of trying to lock in with the bassist, and he was a fun guy. Good
Yeah, for
energy.
sure, right? And anyone who was there and watches this, there was a bass player on the stage, even though you maybe couldn't see him off to the side there. I wasn't even paying attention at
Yeah,
first, and then it hit me. I'm like, "Whoa, there's another person up there." But that stage is pretty small. But I feel like the last time I was there, and you can probably see this too. Um, did they rebuild the stage or make it bigger? Like the floor is different.
they did. Yeah, they put an
Okay.
extension. Yeah, they put an extension on. It's still at an
Hmm.
angle, but now they have electrical outlets in the front, and there's a flap that
Yeah.
opens up in the front. So I'd say they probably added. I mean, to me, who's usually in the back, I'd say they probably added another foot
Yeah.
to the stage, maybe 2 feet.
Yeah. I noticed.
So it's nice. It gives you a little bit more
Yeah.
room.
I mean, it's a small stage, and when you got five people up there, it's a lot, right? It's a small stage, but a fun stage.
Yeah,
Um, I love the screens there. The screens just add a whole other element to it. So yeah.
yeah, those are
Oh
really
yeah,
cool.
for sure. That's yeah, one of my favorite venues of the city. Um, so Holly, I'll kind of bounce
Hmm.
this back to you. Playing around the city, like I said at one time, and you guys are playing all the time, and you're still active. That's fantastic. What are some of the places that you like to play around the city?
Um, I would say the Silver Spike is probably my favorite. I like playing all of the venues because I think they all kind of bring their own vibe and their own
Hmm.
crowd. Um, I can't really say that I like one more than really the other.
Yeah, what's your favorite though?
The Spike.
Yeah, that's okay.
There
Anyone
you go.
anyone who watches it and didn't hear their venue, it's all good. You have a great, you got a big following in the city. You're kind of an iconic band in the city, right? Like, there's some out there that I remember going to see years ago when I first moved to the city. So we're talking 20 years ago. Damn Straight's one of them that's still playing so much, and it's
Yeah,
absolutely amazing that
keep
people are
going.
playing that much. So a lot of
Yeah.
respect for you to go up there, twice on a weekend and kind of burn out your weekend doing it, right? But yeah, that's a lot. We went through a 5 week run with my band and it was playing one set, but it was 5 weeks and at the end of it we took 2 months off. We're like, that's a lot. And it's like, well, you see these cover bands out here that are just going hard all the time. Um, how do you find being one thing that I don't have on here a lot is cover bands, right? So I always like having one on that we kind of pick brains a little bit. How do you feel, the whole cover scene? Because we talk about the local scene a lot. We talk about the original scenes, kind of playing for the door, and you got to draw a crowd to get the door. And I had a conversation with someone last night who's playing a pretty big venue and said, well, every band has to bring so and so many people to cover the door before we
Yeah.
even make money. Obviously, cover scene's a little bit
Hmm.
different though. Are you playing for the door in the cover scene, or you just have a fee? Okay.
No.
No, no, we have a standard
Most,
fee. Yeah.
I'd say probably 60% of our gigs are
Okay.
contracted, so we know what we're going to be going into it. Um, and then the other 40% we negotiate ourselves to. Like I generally will never take a gig um, unless we have a set dollar
Hmm.
amount that I because I'm paying the guys and we're bringing
Yeah.
production, and you know, anything else. So it's a little different, and that's the one thing that I'm still getting my head around a little bit. Going back to the originals is, you know, hey, I hauled stuff, I played, and I went home, it's nice because I knew going into it the rules of engagement. But yeah, on the cover scene, you know, there's sort of an unspoken minimum that the bands try to hit, and we all kind of try to price it that accordingly, because that way the bands, you know, there's some bands that'll charge a little less, there's some bands that'll charge a little more, but generally speaking, there's sort of an average that we will charge out per man per
Mhm.
night.
Do you find, so this is actually, maybe I shouldn't even ask this. Do you find it can be kind of, I don't want to say cutthroat, but being other, yeah,
Yes,
okay.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll just go there then.
it absolutely can. Yeah, you know what? It's not even something that you know, we try to stay competitive but not get
Mhm.
rich off of it. I've had buddies who have been playing that have said, "Geez, you know, you should be charging X amount," and it's kind of like, well, for weddings, for example, these guys have budgets that they won't even go anywhere near, and we try to we want to make money, but we want to
Mhm.
entertain people. And I mean, at our wedding was a great big jam, but you know, not everybody has deep pockets and can hire. But if you really, really want a band, you sort of try to make it work. Well, you work with the couples, but there are bands out there that will play for significantly less amounts to get
Mhm.
gigs, and that does sort of set up a bit of a negative precedent within the city, because what happens is a club owner now says, "Well, I can get this band for, you know, $200 less than
Mhm.
you," and you're going, "Yeah, but this isn't apples and apples. This is apples and oranges." But at the end of the day, to the club owner, saving $200 is saving
Yeah,
$200.
exactly right.
So it's kind of, you know, it's a bit of a different industry. I will say that in the original scene, the bands are much more supportive of each
Mhm.
other, and it always has been. That I've straddled the line between covers and originals my whole
Mhm.
career, and I've always found that the original scene is definitely more supportive of each other. The cover scene, there's cliques and there's bands that, you know, will support each other, but by and large, it's sort of the wild wild west in a lot of cases out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I know what you mean with the well, I don't know what you mean with the cover thing. I haven't been involved in that scene yet, but the local support is pretty good, and we need it, right? The local bands need that support. We need, you know, you got to support local, right? Yeah, you go to these shows, you pay your $10 to
Absolutely.
get in. One thing I love about the tap house, if you're a beer drinker and you can drink PBR, having it on $5. I mean, you can go to a show at the tap house and not break the bank on it, right? And it's just such a
Yeah.
good thing to have. But you got to support because you know when you're playing three bands and you're playing for the door, well, everyone's got to do their part to bring people, right? And it just sucks to go
Yeah.
to one where it's just one band that would be bringing in, but the support in the city is very good. And you know, last night was a great example of things. And I'll tell you one just a short story about a while back, and you may have heard me talk about this before, but we went to a show, and I can't remember what band it was, but anyway, it was such a great night, and there were so many local musicians, and is basically what inspired me to do the
Mm.
Summerfest. And that night, every band that is on that bill at Summerfest had a member there. And I remember standing on the floor in a little circle talking with everyone. And then I kind of threw the idea, and I kind of actually had the idea of it happening, but I threw the idea out there and just waited for someone to say, "Hey, that's cool," and immediate reaction to it, right? And that was just a little bit of show of support in the local scene that you know you got this great group of musicians there, and they all thought, you know, this is great. Let's jam the tap house one night, nine bands, and do this. But then last night, the same thing. There were so many great musicians in one room, and even if you don't know them all, you could literally have someone walk around and say that guy, that guy, that guy, that girl. It was just full of it last night. and it was so cool to see. Every table had a local musician there. No matter what scene they were in, they could have been in a metal scene, could have been in a, softer scene, but everyone was there last night. It was so cool to see. Holly, you got up on stage and did a song. I was hoping you were just going to take over lead vocals for a song.
No. No, I got up and did. They asked me a couple days ago. I know they're older, like the Lousy Lover stuff, the original, like one that Josh was in when we first met, but I don't know a lot of their newer stuff. So this one was easy for me because it was cat fight is all I really had to say.
That would have been fun if you and Rusty had thrown down or something on that. But, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Were you there till the end?
Well, and I think we pulled the pin probably about two songs left.
Yeah,
we had been there since about 7, and in referencing your PBRs. You'll be there for 5 or 6 hours, $5 PBRs. You're starting to get a little hazy. So it was time to
I get it. I get it. We had a rough morning. Luckily, my kid was with my mom, so I didn't get to see him till the afternoon. But my goodness, what a late night! And like I say, you guys are no strangers to pulling double duties on weekends, playing 2 nights. So I couldn't imagine. There's a show at Side Stage tonight, and I couldn't imagine going to that one. I wish I could, but I just don't have it in the gas tank.
Well, yeah, you go on autopilot a lot after a while.
You have to.
It's just autopilot.
I thought the beach balls was a.
I have to throw something out. In keeping with your summer event, I see Eric. I don't know if Eric's still here or not, but I want to get those guys on for the Christmas musical mission this year. So Eric, if you're still on, get in touch with me. I want to get you guys on the bill. Ash and the Arsonist signed up last night again for it, so I'm looking forward to it. That'll be a fun thing.
You Jesus, look at me here plugging. Are you still looking for bands?
We still I have a few spaces left. Yeah.
If you need bands, my band would jump in on that too. We were actually, I literally have it written down on my paper. That's what I was getting to next was your Christmas mission. It was a great event last year. I couldn't make it, but I donated stuff from my shop to it. But absolutely. What a cool event though. I wanted to talk to you about that because how long has this been going on now?
This will be is it going to be the 6th?
6th annual.
6th annual, yeah. It started in 2018, and then of course the COVID shut it down for a couple years, but 2023, 24, 25, this will be 5th or 6th year. I can't even remember. It's just, and it's funny because it literally just came out of a flash idea back in 2018, and hi Rusty, and it was really cool. And in getting back to what you were saying earlier about a room full of musicians, that's how I've sort of dubbed this, the Winnipeg musician Christmas party, because so many guys show up, so many players that aren't playing will come and they hang out, and it's a 12-hour event, so you get a lot of familiar faces and stuff like that. It's fun. It's a blur because it's usually on the back end of that we play the Marion. So we'll play Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday morning we're there at about 8 o'clock in the morning and stay until 1 o'clock.
Wow.
So it's I've taken Monday and Tuesday off this year. So I'll get
what so it's you two that started it. What drove you to start that?
What really kind of struck me the first year was I honestly don't know. It was a cold snap, and I saw somebody outside and I thought, man, I couldn't imagine being in that situation. So the first year we collected a lot of clothing and stuff like that, and then donated it. And then it just kind of morphed into the cheerboard, and we've been doing now for the cheerboard. And actually, it's worked out because with a lot of the new Canadians coming over from the Ukraine and whatnot, it's really helped bolster some of the donations for them. And it's I don't know, like it was just kind of you get that feeling every now and again in your gut. And I like organizing things. Some might say I'm a control freak. But I like the challenge of, can we make this work? And over the years now, Holly's gotten a lot more involved. We've got a couple more people now that will collect prizes, because I hate asking people for donations. It's just something, it just feels awkward to me. So I have a couple ladies that will collect donations and that. And the last 2 years, we've had probably 55 prize packages per year. So that's a big big fun generator as well. So it's nice, and I try to stay as anonymous as I can. Although in the last couple of years, I haven't been able to achieve that. So I've just sort of resigned myself to the fact that as long as people understand that I'm not doing it for the notoriety, then I guess everything needs a person that started it, and that's kind of where I fall in. But there's so many people that make this a success, and each year we're adding new people and new ideas. I want to, hopefully, if I can make it happen, and I think Colin from the Lovers is going to help me here, is hopefully I want to do an album of the bands from the previous year, and Christmas carols. So we'll have this 16-track Christmas carol album, and then we'll sell it at the year, like this year. So for example, 24, all the bands from 24 would do a song. We'd sell it this year, and then this year's bands would do it for next year, and it'll just kind of leapfrog like that, as another form of generating monetary funds for these people.
Wow, huge! That's fantastic. Do you have dates set up for this year?
This year, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll double check because I'm old and I am very forgetful, I believe it's November 29th this year. And November 30th. November 30th this year, and it'll be at the Marion. It's always on a Sunday because that guarantees that we're not cutting into people's incomes, because historically there's been a lot of cover bands, and a lot of our friends that are playing Friday, Saturday, and rather than asking them to sort of take the hit financially, if we do it on a Sunday, we can kind of, we're all free and clear to do the playing.
Yeah.
And our band sets up all the backline. Yeah. So bands just basically show up. Logistically, it's fun because it's a 30-minute set with a 15-minute turnaround, which basically equates to 7.5 minutes coming up and 7.5 minutes getting off. But touch wood, the last couple of years, we've been not even 5 minutes out by the time the event was over.
Wow.
So it's everybody's been really good, and everybody's on board, and they all sort of get the idea of the greater good, and we just it rolls really nice.
Excellent. That's awesome. You already acknowledged Rusty. She chimed in there. That is excellent. That is excellent work. I just heard such great things about it last year, and you had a band come in from Kenora in that storm.
Yeah. And they made great time. It was actually pretty unreal. Well, the funny part, I was talking to somebody last night, Joe Carson from Ash's band, and we were talking about how the weather, when we saw the weather, and I said to him, I start planning this thing in August. So when I walked out the door that morning and saw the weather, my first thought was, oh, insert beep here. Because I figured that would really put a dent into the day, and it didn't. In fact, we made the most money we've made this year, in spite of the snowstorm, which was really a testament to the true Manitoban spirit that we didn't. we didn't stay home. People were coming out and still having fun. And the band made it from Kenora, and they played, and they had a great time. And I'm thinking they're going to be coming back this year.
This year, yeah.
And I've actually had people ask me to do one in the summer too, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's a lot of legwork,
yeah, for sure. Yeah. With that being said, just regarding that whole thing, if there's anything that that I can do with the podcast on it as well, I'm all ears for you. I'd love to help in any way I can, right? So that's kind of what I want to do with this whole thing is support local, and it's just such a great thing you're doing. So good on both of you for stepping up and taking that on. It's good to see stuff like that, you know. It's awesome.
Yeah, and you know what? It's amazing, the community. Going back to the community again, is it's unreal how the response has been. Like, you know, you tell people that you're doing it, and within 2 hours, I had 34 bands, and I'm like, whoa. You know, I have 60 about 17 slots that I can fit in. You know, and then there's been a couple of bands that were not impressed with me, and I'm like, I'm sorry. If I could extend it longer, I would, but it's a Sunday, and people aren't going to stay until 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of relegated to the time that I am. But it's incredible the amount of people that volunteer their time for it, either musically or setting up or prizes. It's the bar, the Marion always gives us the room. They give us prizes. They often donate money. You know, they're very, very accommodating. So it's been it's fun. It really is fun, and we'd love to have you guys on
for
there.
Sure. Yeah, you mentioned the bands reaching out. That's I feel your pain on that. When I announced the Summerfest, I think I had 37 bands reach out, and the whole time, it's like I actually made a list, and I was actually putting people on a list in case someone canceled. But even before I announced it, I already had the 9 bands, and then I announced it, and then wow, it's like wow, everyone kind of came over for that, which is great, and it gives me hope that that this isn't just a 1-year thing. And I would love it if I could extend mine to like the 6 years that you're going on, right? 6 or 7 years you're going on. Like, that's fantastic. Good for you. That's
You will.
Hope so.
And then you'll have a hairline like mine.
No, I won't try. I was gonna say, well, let me take my hat off. I'll show you something in the back. But I blame that on working in the auto industry. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, you know what? I'm so glad you came on tonight. I wish you had my mug with you that I forgot to bring you last night. I'll get that over to you. I'll send you a message. I'll find out what area you're in. I'll drop it off to you. Yeah, good things coming. Looking forward to hearing more from yourself, Josh, and any projects you're in. Holly, yourself too. I gotta get out and see you guys one night. One person who didn't comment tonight that I kind of was hoping would be on is Ronnie Ladderbrook, as you guys do have a history with Ronnie as well. He usually chimes in, but he's taking the night off from this tonight.
Yeah, Ronnie was a fun addition while he was here. He was, I mean, it being a new dad and everything in our schedule, I've often said if I wasn't playing with my wife,
there he is.
I wouldn't be. Hey, Ronnie. I wouldn't be able to do it as much as we did. And when Ronnie joined, it was really fun because I've always loved Ronnie as a player and his abilities. And we'd only done, I think we did 1 or 2 shows with him prior to him joining the band. So when we were looking for a guitar player and Ronnie said, I'd like to do it, I said to him, well, you do know that the cover scene is where original guys come to die, right? Like, you're selling your soul and you're playing, you're playing a whack of tunes and you're going to play every weekend. And so it's nice to see that he, when he stepped out of the band to focus on, family and more stuff that he did prior to, there was a bit of it seemed like he was going to have some downtime, which I guess he did, but it's nice to see him starting to ramp up again and posting his videos and making gig announcements and stuff. It's nice to see that he's getting back into it.
Just a great person, in every way.
Yeah.
It's just it's so nice just to to see his music posts and his family posts and his love for his daughter, just everything, just a genuine person. And with that, Ronnie there, hey, Ronnie's on. I couldn't be more excited to have him open Summerfest. He's going on first, and I felt so bad asking him to go on first.
Nice.
I felt horrible. Who am I asking this legend of a musician to go on first? But then people are like, "Oh, he's got to go first. You want to fill it? You're gonna fill it at 4 o'clock with Ronnie going on first." So, yeah. So
it was funny because somebody, I was talking last night to Caleb from Distodious. Well, that took a long time to get out. And we were talking and we were saying, because back in the 90s, we were doing the cover thing or the original thing, sorry. And, we always wanted to be headliner, want to be the one to close out the show. And then over the years, we're going, no, man, especially now that we're playing to our age demographic, second slot is the headline slot, because first slot people are starting to stroll in. Second slot's hot because the people are there, and then the third slot's a bit of a gamble. It can be packed or it can be empty.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice to see it was busy right to the end last night, but there's been more than one night I've played to cups and girlfriends. That's for sure.
We call those Thursday at the Royal Albert. I played there once and played. I don't even know if the girlfriends were there. It might have just been the cups. Awesome. Yeah. Well, great having you both on tonight. Sorry it's been a struggle to get you on, but we got you on. This isn't the.
We got it.
Well, you have a lot of successful bands that have come on, so I will take full responsibility for my ineptitude on the computer side.
You know what?
I'm certain it was a
I'm sure that's all it was, but you know what? This isn't this isn't the end of Holly and Josh on the show. I'm gonna have you definitely back on, and definitely as we get closer to your event there. I won't do it the week before because I don't want to overload you with anything. But Eric says, don't remind me of the Albert. Yeah, Eric's band played that night too. Eric, we played for each other, buddy. It was all good. But well, I'll definitely have you guys, the both of you, back on as we get closer to that event. And as I said, anything I can do with the podcast to help out and promote, I'm all yours for that. So, yeah. So great having you on tonight.
Thank you.
We'll catch up. I'll get your cup to you. I keep saying it. I'm just gonna get that cup to you. Yeah, awesome. Good seeing you last night, Holly. Good seeing you last night. I wish you would have just done some lead vocals. So I'm just gonna have to come see Holly Davidson somewhere. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, you guys.
Well, you can check out Matt. I'm doing a collab with Matt. Actually,
you know what?
Collab. Yeah.
So
I didn't know that. I feel like Matt told me something similar, and he may say he didn't, but I'm pretty sure he let something slip one day. So
yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Matt is the king.
Oh
yeah, me too. Actually,
nobody shakes and moves better than Matt.
Oh my goodness! You know what? I think one night last week, last week, Thomas Henry, who was there last night too, he did a show for me last week. I was a little bit sick, and he did one actually for a band that's playing in Winnipeg tonight. They were passing through, and he went and saw them. And I thought that night Thomas did such a good job, and I thought I could probably do this sometimes. Just let someone guest host, where I could just walk away one night and let someone do it. And I thought, I got to get Matt to do one.
Yeah.
Well, your episode wouldn't be a half an hour, I'll tell you that.
He's a blast to have on here, and I think I've joked about it before that I need to get like the Golf Masters green jackets for the people that or the Saturday Night Live 5-timer jackets. And Eric, I think Eric right now holds the I think he's 5 or 6 on here, but Matt is right behind him. So I think Josh,
I was impressed with Matt last
Yeah,
year too.
for sure.
He's playing. I'd never seen him play live, and he
You know
cooked.
what? There was a show at the Bulldog uh, that we played with On the Fly, his other band On the Fly that he was with, and he was breaking sticks. Like there were
Yeah.
sticks flying on the ground. Yeah, it was crazy. But what I was gonna say, Josh, before I let you guys go, and no one knows this yet, but I was suggested. I think it was my wife suggested. I don't know. It was last night, I think, that I have a Guitar Gear show coming up, but we want to do a drummer show. So it'll be just
Oh
drummers on. Like I
wow!
got 9 guitarists coming on to talk about gear, but I'm thinking of doing a drum show. So Matt will be there, and I'll just be reaching out to some drummers. So expect a call on that one. So all right,
Right
that
on.
should be a
Thank
good one.
you.
So anyway, you have a good Sunday night. 9:07. We did it. We went triples tonight.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Joe.
Did it? Yeah.
Awesome. We'll
Thanks,
talk
Phil.
to you guys later.